my name is Esther, and welcome to my Flosstube, which is my Flosstube number 6. First of all, I would like to thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, and not at least your comments. I appreciate it very much. So, thank you. I have had two shout-outs. The first one is Kim from Cataloging My Stitches. And actually, she's the first one where I've heard of it, where I actually succeeded in enabling someone, because she actually got hold of one of the Danish pattern books, design books that I had shown in one of my floss tubes. So I'm very happy, Kim, that you got it. And the other one is, actually there are two, Smoky Mountain Stitches. I really like when those two sisters get together, because there's a whole lot of energy and a lot of things and laughing going on, and I really enjoy watching them. There's a slight change in my floss tube. I don't know if you notice at all, but anyway, I'm going to tell you. Here in Denmark, we are still partly in lockdown, which means that hairdressers have been closed for 4 months almost now, since before Christmas. But since last week, I have been back to school. Not all of my pupils are back, but all the teachers are back. And then we teach online we teach our pupils online from the school, because in each class we do have some students who are allowed to come there. Well, anyway, that means that I'm more tired. I like being back, but it's hard, because all the time you have to remember to wear a mask, keep your distance, 2 meters, and that is including colleagues as well as students, pupils, which the pupils sometimes find very difficult. So I'm very tired when I get home. And therefore, and also I have to be tested twice a week now. Not my favorite thing to do. Therefore, from now on, I don't know for how long, but for time being, I'm going to record my floss tube on Thursdays, and then I will probably edit them and upload them on Friday, which means that they will probably be online a little earlier than usual, because before I used to film and edit and upload on Fridays, which meant that sometimes I didn't get the upload done until 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'm sorry about the noise. I have 2 cats who are, I don't know what they're doing. Sometimes, for example, next time I might film, record and edit and upload my floss tube on the same day. That depends on how tired I am and how much time I've got. Well, before we move on to the part 2 of, I have a lot of notes here today, because there's a lot of things I want to tell you about. But before moving on to part 2 of the Danish samplers, I would like to introduce you to Haandarbejdets Fremme and their designs. And what is Haandarbejdets Fremme, you might ask? Well, actually, it's called Selskabet til Haandarbejdets Fremme. Well, it was founded in 1928 with the aim and purpose to promote and encourage needlework and handmade arts and crafts characterized by artistic skills. The idea behind the foundation was to keep in mind the fine old Danish textile traditions and to contribute to a progressive contemporary innovation of the creative art of embroidery, knitting, any kind of textiles, and other Danish-made arts and crafts. Haandarbejdets Fremme are also a publisher of embroidery books, and the most famous is the annual calendar that is illustrated with color plates and charts as well. And the calendar was first published in 1960. I have borrowed these books from the library, and actually my aunt owned most of them, but I don't think I got them. Maybe I got them in the attic, and I might find out if we eventually start to find out what we actually have in the attic. Well, as I said, I have been to the library, and I have borrowed some of these books. This is one of them, and this is actually modern Danish samplers. And here you can see that are sampler motifs. But they are all characterized by being modern. They have been made to this book. And as you can see, then I have some more books here. This one is People in Love in Copenhagen of Holberg. Holberg was a famous, he wrote plays for the theater. And from here I'm just going to show you one of them. This one. It seems like the light is hopefully a bit better today than last time. No, it's not. This one is from 1984. And then we have 1985. They are all roses. The whole book is full of roses, patterns for roses. My favorite one is this one. I really like that one. I find it very beautiful. Not that I'm going to stitch it, but it's still beautiful. Then we have 1986. And also here I'm going to show you one pattern. Very simple, but nice looking, I think. Sometimes they surprise and make some very interesting books, calendars. This one, it's filled with Danish motifs from Denmark, typical Danish houses. This one is actually a part of Copenhagen. This is, the water is actually where you take the canal tours through Copenhagen. And then we have some different motifs from Copenhagen as well. I definitely like these ones. And this one, the upper one, I think actually both of them, they are from Elsinore or Helsingør in Danish. You know, the castle of Hamlet. The top motif, that's actually Kronborg, the castle of Hamlet. The Hamlet by Shakespeare. And here in Denmark we have, I know you have them in other places as well. I think you call them allotments. And they're very typical for Denmark as well. And again, oops, the book is a bit destroyed, but as you can see, these are typical Danish allotment houses. Okay, that was Felix. I don't know what he is doing right now, but he shouldn't be doing that. Let me see if I can focus still. And then the last one is from I forgot to say this one is from 87, but I think you saw that. Uh-oh. I think I have to pause my video for a moment. Or is it a spider up there? It might be. I'll just pause and see what it is. Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. It was a spider, but now it's gone. And the cat is more quiet. But I think, yeah. Let's see, otherwise I have to pause again. Well, what I was about to say was was going to present the last book for you from Haandarbejdets Fremme. It's from 1989. It's called From My Window, and all motives are seen as if they are seen from inside a house or an apartment. And I just want to show you two of them. This one I particularly like, except if I will, that's Rundetårn, that's a very famous building in Copenhagen, the tower, but I would probably do it without the curtains. I think the curtains, I mean, I don't like the curtains, but the rest of the motive I like a lot. And then this one is also very typical Danish. As you can see, the buildings are very typical Danish. So I'm going to stitch some of these eventually. I'm going to stitch a lot eventually. Yeah. Now in a few moments I'm going to insert the video, the part 2 of my Danish samplers. It's about the motives, the typical motives of samplers in Denmark and a lot of other countries. I have tried to find pictures of all the motives. I have used this book and this book and this book, as well as this book, but I must admit I haven't been able to find motives of all the symbols that I talk about. Sorry about that. But I hope you will enjoy it anyway. And you can find the info of all these books that I'm showing today in the description box. And as usual, I will insert a timestamp here, so you can skip the samplers video if that doesn't interest you. Well, I'm going to insert the video now. Have fun! Hi and welcome to this second part of my little mini-series about Danish samplers. Today I'm mostly going to tell you a bit about the motives and the symbolism. Very often these symbols used in samplers were dualistic, and a lot of them were religious. You very often saw dogs, not so much because of their faithfulness as to their cuteness. So a lot of them actually put on dogs onto their samplers because they found they looked cute. You can also very often find keys, and the key is a symbol of the key to heaven, or the household utensil. So that's what I mean when I say that they very often had dualistic symbols. So you very often see the tree of life in a pot, and very often it's the shape of a cypress, which is also a picture of Jesus. When you see the letters IHS, it stands for Jesus Hominum Salvator, and that is pretty common. Very often you see parrots. They are quite frequent, and they are often to be connected to omens and warnings. You also have two birds opposite. That was very common, and if they were placed on each side of the tree of life, it was meaning that you had a prolonged life, or you hoped for a prolonged life. Also, the rooster was very popular, mostly because of its colors, but it was actually also seen as a symbol of vigilance, which was a virtue that the girl should strain for. The owl is also pretty standard as the well-known symbol of wisdom and as a symbol of Jesus as well as of the devil. The latter is a creature of the night, and bad deeds are committed in the darkness. As if people could not commit bad deeds in broad daylight. The lamb was also very common, and often as a symbol of Jesus, and sometimes it had the cross or a cross flag, and then it was seen as Agnus Dei, the Lamb of God. The lion shows courage and strength as the king of the animals, and is again often seen as a symbol of Jesus. And sometimes it's also seen as a symbol of Marcus the evangelist, or even the devil, because the lion is dangerous. The deer is often pictured as a sign of the soul's longing for God. And apart from that, it's an ancient symbol known from multiple religions. Its antlers can be seen as a tree, which again can be seen as a tree of life. Monkeys are pretty rare, and if they're used, they're mostly used as a symbol of the devil. Sometimes you can also see humans, but they are usually not symbols, but very often they are depicted as Dutchmen. Probably because the pattern has been a Dutch one. You see, King Christian II, he invited many Dutch people to Denmark to grow the land in the 1500s. I told you a bit about this in episode 4 of my Flosstube. More symbols. A house with doors and windows showed earthly residence. A boat refers to Noah's Ark. And the flower wreath was used a lot. If it was around the stitcher's name or initials, it was seen as a memorial wreath. But the rose is the most common flower on samplers, and red is the color of love, and white the color of innocence, and yellow the color of deception. The heart symbolizes love, and together with an anchor and the cross, it is seen as faith, hope, and love, and it still is today. And apart from these typical objects, you could also see a lot of everyday utensils like vases, pots, animals, people. Sometimes you can also find non-traditional objects like a flag if it had a special meaning to the stitcher. So sometimes the stitchers just made whatever they felt was important. The question is, did these stitchers make up all the patterns by themselves? Most likely they did not. But since Gutenberg had invented the letterpress at around 1450, the Bible was, of course, the thing that was printed in most copies, but actually pattern books were in the second place. Especially pattern books for cross-stitch began to emerge in Germany, and a bit later it started in Italy as well. In 1597 there was an Italian, his name was Federico di Vinciuolo, and he released a pattern book that became very popular and was actually reprinted until 1658. Initially, he had been a heraldic painter, which you can see in the patterns, and that is actually the reason why a lot of our samplers look quite heraldic. That was a little fun fact. The title of the book was Schön neues Modellbuch von allerlei lustigen Mödeln nachzunähen, zuwucken und zusticken. And here you can see the cover of it. Well, this was the end of my part 2 of my little series about Danish samplers. I hope you have enjoyed it, and let's go back to my floss tube. Hi, and welcome back. As you can now see, I would like to introduce you to Scipio, one of our 4 cats. He's the youngest one. I hope he doesn't make too much mess up there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you skipped the video because it's not your interest, well, welcome back as well. It's now time for whips and finishes, and I do have some finishes this time. First of all, this one from Spring Pins and Pretty Things from CrossStitcher magazine, March 2020. It's done on 16 count Ada Easy Guide, and this is the one I call Lemon. And now I forgot to show you how they should look. I think the cats are that noisy today because it's Thursday afternoon, and usually I film in the evening after they have been fed. So that's probably the reason why. And then the other finish is actually also my new start. I do not remember who showed it to me first, but I've seen it whilst Iris naps freebies for spring. I've seen presented in so many floss tubes, and I really liked it. And last time I got this, what is it called? It's Murano even with 32 count light blue, a gift from Casa Chenina. I love my cats. And so far I only did the small ones, and this is the one with Happy Easter. I'm also going to do the bunnies and probably also the carrots, but I haven't had the time yet. So that's the one, and then I've done this Welcome Spring. This one is Happy Easter, is just done in different colors. I did not pull from stash. This one, on the other hand, is made by Misusedas' variegated silks called Mojito, and I think it looks absolutely wonderful. I think I'm going to make them into little pillows, as I do with most of the stuff. So that were the finishes, and then I have this one. I have shown this on my Instagram, I think. It's my own design, and someone wrote to me, and I'm sorry I forgot your name. I will put your name down here. Wrote to me on Instagram what Easter was called in Dutch, and of course I'm going to put it here. And I don't know if I'm going to make an outline of an egg. I think that might be a good idea. The what you call it? The fabric is 18 count Ada. It's called Nuage, and it's light blue and light, very light pink, red, rose color. I don't know what you should call it. It looks like little pink clouds. So if you have other suggestions what I can do with this, as I said before, I'm going to put in the word for Easter in Dutch as well, and maybe in some other languages. And I'm thinking about making an outline of an egg, but I haven't decided yet. So if you have any ideas how I could finish this, please let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate that. The other whips. Temperature Tree by Stitching Mommy, also known as Sarah. This time I haven't ironed. I'm apologizing up front, but I didn't have time for that. I have decided that I will only stitch on this temperature tree every fortnight or so. That means that I have to stitch 14, 15, 16 leaves, but it doesn't take that long time, and I think it's more nice. The last one I put in here, I think it's the 14th or the 15th. So, as you can see, it's gotten colder again. And this is in my Star Wars project bag. I bought it from my favorite project bag maker when I could still buy stuff from the UK. She's on Etsy. She's called Amelia X Joy. I can really recommend her project bags. This is a veg size. She has all kinds of sizes. I'm going to show you some other of her project bags today because my whips are in them. She also made this one. You can see with a lot of sewing motifs. This is my I Love Cats from Rainbowstitchcross, a shop that on Etsy that is now closed, and I do not have a photo of it, how it should look. I didn't make much. I did 187 stitches on it. But as you can see, I have now finished the letters and the heart, and now just have to do the cat head. So eventually someday I will be finished with it. She also made this bag. So you can see her. Amelia X Joy. In here I have my star pillow. I think I did a pretty good stitching on it since the last time. At least I got some more lines done. Yeah, I say that every time. Sorry for that. But just look on how that oxide silk variegates. It's fantastic. And now I only have 2 whips left because this time I only had 6 whips in rotation. That means I didn't stitch on my height at all. I didn't stitch on my 2 streets by Galliana CrossStitch. This one is also made by Amelia with a winter theme. I'm now stitching on the last one of these spring pins and pretty things from CrossStitcher magazine. This is the one I call Waves. Yeah, not much else to say about it. I like these vibrant colors, and I'm going to make them all into little pillows with the same backing. Okay. One of the reasons why I didn't stitch on my height and I didn't stitch on a lot of the other whips is that Caterpillar Cross Stitch came out with Hello Petal. And it came out last Thursday, I think, last Wednesday. 6 days ago, the 12th of March, it came out. I have a picture of it here. Maybe if you remember, I did the Hello Deer, and this is a Hello Petal. I haven't done the Hello Pumpkin, the autumn, yet. This I find so cute that I just had to do it. Despite that I have plenty of whips already and plenty of kitted up already projects. I just needed to stitch this one. And so I kitted it up that's on the 12th of March and started stitching. And you might have seen my progress on Instagram. And this could really have needed an iron, because this is the one I'm working very much on. As you can see, I have done all the big symbols. Yeah, I'm not done with the sheep yet, but I think tonight or tomorrow it will be done. And then I have done all the bigger motifs. And then I can just, I think it will move a bit faster then, because then I can just put in one or two of the leaves or a little flower when I don't have that much time. I did it on a 16 count Ada, one of the fabric pieces that I hand dyed. This color is actually teal and white. I don't know if you can see that. And the colors are the call for DMCs. So, these were my whips. Plants. Just a moment. Usually I don't drink, but I just came to think that, hey, I want to show my only cross-stitch mug, the only cross-stitch mug that I have. I'd rather be cross-stitching. One of the reasons why I didn't stitch on a lot of my whips is that I have decided to put all my Christmas stitching aside until Jolly July. Or if WhipGo tells me to stitch on it, I have to, but otherwise I will not stitch any Christmas related until July. I'm also working on a secret project. I'm not going to tell you more about it, but in a later video you will hear and see more about it. And I think I have already put about 3,000 or 4,000 stitches into it, and that's also one of the reasons why I haven't stitched that much on the other projects. Good. I'm not participating in March Madness, first of all because I didn't hear about it until the 2nd or 3rd of March, and then I thought, no, that's too late. I don't want to rush into things. I can do that next year. Instead, I'm aiming for Stitchmania and have already started making plans about that. And I think I'm going nuts now. I'm officially going nuts because I plan to start a new project every day. And the month of May has 31 days. As if I don't have enough whips already. So I'm also trying now to see if I can finish some of my smaller projects at least, so I have a little less whips when Stitchmania starts. The first 2 days of May I have reserved for my WhipGo because I do not know which things will be drawn. And I will present to you all the stuff that I'm going to stitch in my Stitchmania when we get to the end of April, and when I know which numbers have been drawn for the WhipGo. My last plan is that Friday next week, from Friday next week, I will have 10 days off Easter holiday. I have some gardening plans, but that also depends on the weather. But apart from that, I plan. And as I have said before, usually I don't plan that much. That doesn't mean that I have some ideas on what I would like to do in the near future. And one of my plans is that I would like to fully finish some of my projects, my FOs. Also, I will try to make a project bag. Nicola from Bumble Stitches and Alitha Badan Can Stitch have made 2 tutorials that put together is how to make a project bag. So far I've only watched Nicholas. And the reason why I thought that might be fun is that because 10 years ago, I decided I would try doing some patchwork or quilting patchwork. So I bought a lot of fabric and I cut the fabric. They're still here. I really like the colors, especially this one. But I also like some of the other, and as you can see, they're all in blue and green colors. And I thought that might be good that could be put to use if I started making project bags. I also have tons, and these are probably the ones I'm going to use first, because I have tons. This is crazy. I have tons of 5 centimeters, what you call it? I don't know what you call blocks? No. Pieces of 5 centimeters. Actually, I think there are 6 right now because you have to sew them. But as you can see, I have plenty of fabric that I don't use. I haven't used for 10 years. Just for 10 years, I have just had them lying around in boxes. I find that a bit stupid. But I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I'm just saying that's my plan. And for sure, I'm only going to show you the project bag if I succeed. That's also for sure. And then, of course, one of the plans that I'm sure I'm going to do is in this holiday is I want to stitch, and I want to stitch a lot. I don't know what I'm going to stitch on, but because when I stitch, yeah, I do have whips in rotation, but that doesn't mean that I have to stitch one particular whip one day and so forth. It just means that those are the whips I like to work on at the moment. I hardly dare to say this word. Hole. I don't know if you recall, but the last time I told you that I had tried to convince myself that I could only buy at Casa Chenina once a month. And that I had ordered on Wednesday. And sure enough, that package arrived on the Monday after my Flosstube, the last Flosstube came out. And everything was fine, and I didn't feel the need or the urge to go in and check if there was something that I needed. And then I got an alert email saying that some of the weeks I work that I have been looking for, but they have been out of stock. They were back in stock, but not for long, because I was not the only one who was looking for them. And I said, I have made my one legal order at Casa Chenina for this time. So what am I going to do? Well, I did what any sane cross-stitcher would do. I went to the website and purchased all those weekdays works that were in stock. And some of them, there were only 2 or 3 left. And it's not my fault that when I came to the place where you pay, I found patterns as well as some gentle arts floss in my cart. I don't know how that happened. So actually, I got some more alert mails from Casa Chenina about some other floss that I was also looking for, but I have not been there, but I haven't shopped for them yet. I'm so good. Well, let's move to my haul. First of all, the floss. Week's Dye Works. And these, most of them, are colors that are called for in some of those Halloween patterns that I purchased. And some of them I just bought because I thought they were looking good. And these are the ones I actually didn't know were in the cards. There are some classic color works. And there are some gentle arts. Some of the gentle arts, I think 2 of them, are actually called for in also some of the same pattern, Halloween patterns. So, oh, and I forgot to show you, there were also 2 of these Atelier, because I like the colors. One is called, they're both called Onyx, or Onyx, or, I don't know how you pronounce that. You can see it here. And I really like the color of it. So it has a bit green in it as well. Some small floss rings. I would prefer the big ones, but they were sold out. And then I bought some fabric. I bought this checker. It's a green tealish one. And of course that's for some of the pillows I'm going to make. I also got a little present from Casa Chinina. This piece of fabric. Very cute. Very spring-like. And the reason why I bought fabric was that I saw this one. I have told you that I like crocus. I love crocuses. Just look at this. Isn't it beautiful? I think it's beautiful. And I bought quite a lot of it. 4 times this is what I purchased. And this one is called Frühlingselfen, because you see a little elf there, and Frühling is German for spring, so spring elves. And this is also, this is a, no, that's not a crocus, but this is definitely crocuses, and a lot of spring flowers, snowdrops, etc. I find it so cute, really. Then I also bought scissors. Now I have 11 scissors. I can only use 1 scissor at a time, but did that stop me from buying them? No, because look, this one has got rainbow colors and this one is red colors. They're so beautiful. I need them. So I just had a count of my scissors before starting recording this. 11 scissors. 2 of them are plain scissors, not fancy at all. And then I have 9 more or less fancy scissors. What have I gotten myself into? Well, last time I showed you this Rome pattern by Thea Governor. And now I bought this crocus panel. I hope you can see it. Maybe I should take it out. Ah, then I'll take everything out. Oh well. Yeah, you can see it. And as I said last time, I'm not going to stitch them as a panel. I'm going to stitch them individually, because then it won't. These patterns are not in Pattern Keeper, and yeah, that means I have to to do it manually. And also, one of the things about Thea Governor's kits is that you never get to know what DMC colors have been used. Is that annoying or what? And again, as I said last time, I cannot work with this. So again, I'm going to sit down with my floss card of DMC flosses and figure out what these colored are, and after that I can start taking one pattern at a time into Pattern Keeper, and then I can start stitching. But this pattern came with linen. I don't stitch on linen. It's not that big. And as I sit here looking through it, I really wonder, how can you see? How can you stitch on this and it will look nice? I don't get it. I will try to find out which count it is. It looks very small to me, so probably count 60 or something like that. No, I'm just joking. It doesn't say here, but I will look through and then see. So this I will definitely use in a giveaway, because I'm not going to use it. Of course, I could use it for experimenting with dyeing, but I think I would better leave that up to the next owner of this linen. It's very stiff as well. It's actually as stiff as Ada, but maybe if you wash it first, it will be okay. Okay. Then one should think, I know I still need to talk about the patterns, but one should think that I had bought enough, right? I have watched Leah Rivenga on her Flosstube, and the last Flosstube I saw, she presented a German book about German samplers. And you know, it's really it's really fun that I find this history of samplers so interesting. But do I stitch samplers? No, not really. Maybe I'd use a motif or two, but I don't stitch samplers like a lot of you do. But I'm very much into history, and maybe that's why I went on Amazon after I watched her Flosstube, and I got myself some books about German samplers. So it will not be in the next couple of videos, but later I might do some little videos about German samplers. I think I will wait a while, because as far as I can see, Danish and German samplers aren't that much different from each other. There are some slightly differences in the motifs and the way they put up the samplers, but otherwise, no. So the first one, I cannot show you anything from it, because the only thing that's in this book are patterns and text. So you can only see the front page. But it's a pretty thick one. Then I found this one. It's called Gestickte Bilderbogen. It means stitched picture book. And here I can show you some. There's this one. I think a lot of you would like that one, because I think it looks quite a lot like the ones you usually make. And we have another one over here. And you can see some of the motifs are very much alike and some are a bit different. Then I found this one, Stickmotive aus alten Mustertüchern. Motives from old samplers. And I have also found some examples here, you can see. They're in black and white. And I have one more here that's in color. Actually, I like the way the letters here are with not variegated floss, but it looks a bit like variegated floss. The one who did this has really played with the colors. And actually, it's from 1740, this sampler, 1740. And I think I can find the motifs in this book because there are a lot of motifs in it. A lot of mills, a lot of animals, a lot of borders, a lot of letters, even Gothic letters, fruits, trees, houses, people, you name it. It's kind of like this book, this Michelle showed in her last Flosstube, and the last one before that, with a lot of different sampler motifs. I think this is kind of like the same kind of book. And then we have Gestickte Mustertücher. Actually, it's written by Felicity Lewis, so it might not be German. But some of them, not these ones, but some of them do actually have German texts in it. And another one here. I cannot tell if they are all German samplers in this one because I haven't studied the book that much. The last one is the one that Lea also showed. CrossStitcher historische Mustertücher. And this is kind of a special one because in here you have the patterns. I hope it's alright to show it like this. And then you have this book, pamphlet. And in it you can see all the samplers that the patterns, where you have the patterns as well. And actually they also describe some of the symbols. But I got this book after I did the video. Actually, I think I did take some of the motifs here. I think some of them look very nice. And you also have the numbers, but I think it's with anchor. They're made with anchor threads. But then you can just convert them into DMC. Almost through the whole and this video. Patterns. I have said it before, I do definitely not need more patterns, but that doesn't keep me from buying more. First of all, I saw on Instagram Mulian Stitches a little sleeping kitten pattern. And I found it so cute. I'm going to change the colors on this, and this is a quick stitch. I'm going to change the colors so they will look a bit like Scipio, the red and one cat you saw before. I think I'm going to make this in my Easter holiday because this, what will that take? 1-2 hours? And that's about it. Then I bought this one from Soda Stitches. Not that I'm expecting, or any in my family are expecting, but I've loved those rabbits or those bunnies. And I bought them for all the spring motifs, not because of it was, what you call this, an announcement. I didn't buy it because of that. I bought it because of the motifs, because I found them very cute. As you can see, a lot of spring motifs. And as I was on CrossStitcher's Etsy shop, of course, with all my cats, I needed to buy this world cat as well. That's how what cat is called in different languages. And since I like languages and cats a lot, of course, I needed to have this one. When I'm going to stitch them, I haven't got a clue. Okay, so in my last Janina order, I had ordered another. No, I didn't order this one. It just happened to be in my cart when I had to pay. From Lindner's CrossStitcher, and that's Christmas again. So I'm definitely not going to do it right now, but I really found that bear on the skis or whatever it is very cute, so I had to buy the pattern just for that one. But there are a lot of cute motifs, I think. Yeah, look at that little penguin there. A little penguin. That's cute. One should think I had enough Halloween patterns, right? Especially because, as I said before, I do not celebrate Halloween. I think I have about 15 Halloween patterns now. One should think that I had enough Halloween patterns, right? I thought I had. But this one from Jardin Privé, Halloween, I can't, I'm stitching. I just needed to have this one because I found it amusing. I have talked about Madame Chantilly before, or Chantilly, or however you pronounce her name. And so far I only made the Christmas owls, but I have all the other owls as well. I haven't stitched them yet, but some of them are in my whip go, so I will start some of them. I accidentally, Halloween Town, I have been looking at it every time I've been to Casa Chinina. And this time, whoops, it just happened to find a place in my cart. And I'm so happy. And that's all in DMC. And as you know, I do have all the DMC colors, so I can start stitching it right away. But I will not, because this is going to be probably part of my Stitch Mania. So I have to wait a little. Well, we are coming to an end of this Flosstube. I hope you enjoyed being here. I'm going to see you in about 2 weeks. I hope you will subscribe if you liked what you saw. And please hit the like button and leave a comment. And I strive to answer every comment that I get. And yeah, until next time, bye.